Speculative legend, George Soros, single-handedly overturned financial markets around the world. The greatest financial investor in history, the greatest speculator of the 20th century, the world's heroes and villains, or the person who upset the global financial market, are the titles that people give. For George Soros, the most successful billionaire in the field of financial investment, this personality-filled businessman went through a very difficult childhood during the World War, then rose to become a man who could disrupt the world's economy, a legend among speculators. Starting from a difficult childhood during World War II, George Soros rose to become a legendary investor in the financial world. Try to find opportunities. George Soros was born on August 12, 1930 in Budapest, capital of Hungary, with the name George Soros, pronounced Soros, on his birth certificate. With a Jewish background, his childhood was filled with dark days when he witnessed the Nazis slaughtering Jews during World War II. His entire family had to flee the Nazi occupation using fake identification documents. George Soros was born on August 12, 1930 in Budapest, capital of Hungary, with the name George Soros on the birth certificate. Later, when recalling his childhood years, George Soros said, "Instead of submitting ourselves to fate, we fought against brutal forces that were many times stronger than us, and we won. We not only survived, but we were able to help others." His family managed to survive under the Nazis and also helped others survive. In 1947, George Soros went to London alone. He accepted to work at all kinds of jobs, from a railway employee to a waiter at a nightclub, to have money to make ends meet and complete his studies at the London School of Economics. In 1947, George Soros went to London alone. He worked many different jobs to have money for education. After graduating, he started applying for jobs at British banks, but was constantly rejected. Finally, George Soros was hired as an employee at Singer and Friedlander. The job was quite boring, and when he learned that a stock brokerage firm based in New York City had a job opening, he immediately moved to America. After graduating, he started applying for jobs but kept failing. Later, he moved to America to try his luck. Created the Devil Soros. In New York, George Soros worked in two securities companies before joining Arnold and Bleichroeder in 1963. One of the factors that brought him success was that when he moved to America, he understands the European market very well, while American investors are completely ignorant of this potential market. In New York, Soros worked in two securities firms before joining the firm Arnold and Bleichroeder in 1963. After working as a broker on Wall Street, he advised his two clients to buy a lot of Allianz Insurance Company shares because, according to him, the company's stock price was much lower than its actual value. He also convinced Allianz's board of directors that Allianz's price would have been much higher if the company had promoted its brand image more. Sure enough, Allianz's shares skyrocketed and Soros succeeded in his first deal. Thanks to his strategic vision, Soros, like his customers, made a lot of profit from Allianz shares. In 1969, using his own $250,000 and about $6 million from investors he knew, George Soros founded a foreign venture capital fund called the Soros Fund. Not long after, George Soros also left Arnold and Bleichroeder. In 1969, with a total capital of more than $6 million United States dollars, Soros established a venture capital fund called Soros Fund. Although the 1970s were poor years for the U.S. stock market, Soros's fund prospered. As a fund manager, George Soros focuses on finding undervalued sectors in the U.S. and other countries, buying these unpopular low-priced stocks and selling them short. High coupons are preferred. Although the 1970s were poor years for the U.S. stock market, Soros's fund prospered. In 1979, he changed the name of the fund to Quantum Fund, and by 1980 this fund had achieved a profit of 103% with a capital of up to $380 million United States dollars. In 1981, institutional investor magazine called George Soros the world's greatest investor. quantum fund's total return in 1985 was 122% because George Soros also invested in foreign stocks and long-term U.S. Treasury bonds. In 1979, he changed the name of the fund to Quantum Fund. From 1980 to 1985, this fund continuously had impressive profits. Of course, not all of his investment activities are profitable. For example, in 1987, Quantum Fund lost up to $840 million United States dollars when the US and other countries' stock markets collapsed in October. However, this fund still achieved a profit increase for the whole year of 14%. Of course, not all of his investment activities are profitable. However, the fund's activities are still consistently profitable. Became a legend overnight. On September 16, 1992, George Soros became a true legend in the speculative world after shaking up the British financial market, the financial center of Europe. That year, with the belief that the pound would plummet in value due to economic weakness and high unemployment rates, he borrowed billions of pounds to buy Deutschmarks. On September 16, 1922, George Soros became a true legend when he overwhelmed the British financial market. In the end, although the British central bank tried to protect the exchange rate, the severe devaluation of the British pound forced them to float the pound and withdraw from the European exchange rate system. After this deal, George Soros made a profit of more than $1 billion United States dollars, a terrible number for a deal for financial investors at that time. After the pound devalued, Soros earned more than $1 billion United States dollars in profit, a terrible number for an investment deal. Destroyed Asian currencies. In 1997, George Soros' Quantum Fund signed a series of foreign currency trading contracts with a value of up to $15 billion United States dollars. And then, with the subjectivity of the Thai government, the baht then fell dramatically in value and led to a domino effect in a series of other Asian financial markets such as the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Korea. In 1997, the Quantum Fund signed a series of foreign currency trading contracts and caused currency crises in Asia. George Soros's next victim affected by the Asian economic crisis chain is America. This wave of crisis hit Wall Street in October 1997, leading to a series of collapses in financial markets around the world and sparking a wave of stocks selling in the US on October 27. This wave of crisis hit Wall Street in October 1997, leading to the collapse of financial markets around the world. Also on that day, the Dow Jones Index reached a new record when it fell 554.26 points, breaking the record of Black Monday in the US in 1987. List of victims of George Soros has been extended until now, including in Russia during the financial crisis in August 1998 when international speculators attacked the ruble. The list of victims of George Soros is still expanding to this day, including Russia and the ruble. Genius or saboteur? In 2013, taking advantage of the deflation and recession of the Japanese economy, along with the hesitation of the country's central bank in pumping money to stimulate the economy, Soros earned more than $1.2 billion United States dollars. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe came to power and launched Abenomics with a strong economic stimulus policy and of course, the yen plummeted 25%, just as he predicted. In 2013, taking advantage of the Japanese economic downturn, George Soros earned more than $1.2 billion United States dollars in profits. The strange rise and success of George Soros is also the cause of conflicting assessments of his life, career and personality. To many people, he is a legend in the investment world, with a sharp mind and strong psychology. To others, he was a profiteer and cause of financial crises. The strange rise of George Soros is also the cause of mixed assessments of his life. Former U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker once said, George Soros made his mark on the financial markets as a talented speculator, wise enough to withdraw even when the game was over. Play is still ahead. The huge profits he made are now being used to promote change in economies in transition. The former chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, Fed, also praised George Soros as a talented investor. The secret to go left. George Soros's motto is quite special. In business, it's not important to be right or wrong. What's important is how much money you'll make if you're right, and how much money you'll lose if you're wrong. George Soros said that like many other investors, in order to make the right decision, he must collect information and analyze it meticulously, plus a little bit of inherent instinct and luck to create success. Besides, one of the factors that made him successful was that he was always passionate about working tirelessly when he only slept about 2 hours every night. To Soros, being right or wrong doesn't matter. The important thing is how much money you will get if you are right and how much you will lose if you are wrong. According to Wall Street economic experts, when everyone goes to the right, only George Soros chooses the left, but he appears to be on the right path. George Soros believes that investors are always influenced by each other and tend to move with the majority. He always tries to understand the direction of the majority, and when the decisive moment comes, he will separate from the general trend and go his own path that is most beneficial for him. According to Wall Street economic experts, Soros always understands the psychology of the crowd and makes his own important decisions. At the London Institute of Economics, George Soros studied psychology and sociology. And it was also the knowledge of psychology and sociology that helped him form investment principles as well as his hunches in business. Although sometimes his risky investments are not always correct, the knowledge of psychology and sociology at the London Institute of Economics has helped him a lot in his career. Endless contributions. As George Soros gradually reduced his role as a fund manager, he turned to writing articles and books. He has published a number of famous books on finance and globalization issues such as The Alchemy of Finance, 1987, Soros on Soros, 1995, George Soros on Globalization, 2002. George Soros, also received honorary degrees from many world-famous universities such as Oxford University, Yale University, and Budapest University of Economics. As George Soros gradually reduced his role as a fund manager, he turned to writing articles and books. With the motto, "Millionaires spend money, but billionaires must make history," in 1969 George Soros established the first charitable fund, and by 2003 there were more than 50 funds named after George Soros. Present worldwide. In 1969 George Soros founded the first charitable foundation, and by 2003 there were more than 50 foundations around the world. He founded an Open Society Foundation with a network spanning more than 100 countries around the world with the aim of supporting the community in education, health, social reform. In numbers. According to data released by this organization, the Jewish-American billionaire has so far spent more than $12 billion on charity activities. Currently, he is retired and only focuses on social charity activities. He founded an open society organization with a network spanning more than 100 countries and donated more than $12 billion to charity. It can be said that, although there are many controversies about his career and personality, the world cannot deny the mark that genius investor George Soros left in the history of global finance and his contribution for community development, towards a fair and civilized society. With those achievements, the world cannot deny the mark that George Soros left in global financial history.